Randy, we haven't seen you in a while, and I'm curious to know what the state of reopening classrooms 5 days a week is for teachers.
So, look, we share President Biden's goal, Nicole, and, you had me on, and I was so grateful so much over the summer about what it takes to do that. And if you actually re-rolled that and compared it to what the CDC said, it was very similar. And if we had gotten, that kind of guidance and the kind of resources that we had baked for in the spring and the fall, I think you'd have a very different situation going into, the last surge, and then, maybe what's going to happen in terms of the variant. But the bottom line is this: teachers understand the importance of in-school learning. They would have told you that pre-COVID, and they have been wanting a roadmap for a safe return. I think we now have that from the CDC. And I think that with the rescue plan that Joe Biden is pushing and Kamala Harris is pushing, we will have the resources for it. And with that, I think you'll see us being able to accomplish Joe Biden's goal. I think that the issue about testing so that we see asymptomatic spread, and particularly what may happen, God forbid, with the variant, and the issue of vaccinations, making us a priority or making education a priority are really important. And that's going to take a lot of will. And it's going to have to, and that will be a political struggle in places like Florida and Georgia that don't want to make teachers a priority.
I want to ask you about something that my colleague Heidi Presbella reported on earlier this week in the Philadelphia area, that one of the things we know about COVID is that you must have adequate ventilation. It is no sort of mystery or secret that some of the most low-income school districts have the worst ventilation in schools. And it seems like, as with remote learning, where you need computers and you need Wi-Fi and you need tech-savvy adults in the home, this is another disadvantage for low-income kids. I wonder if you're looking at summer school or repeating years, or what are we going to do if we ever get to the other side of this? For every step of the way, we seem to be leaving behind the most vulnerable students.
And I'm very familiar with the Philly situation, as you would imagine. It's the through line here in terms of what open. There is actually 60% of schools are open for some in-school learning right now, and that's very much dependent in places like New York and Connecticut on how many kids are there, dependent upon which parents wanted to send their kids there, and physical distancing. But to your point, the through line is places that had money, places that fixed their ventilation systems were more readily open than places that did not. And the situation Heidi's reporting was completely accurate. I thought it was a Saturday Night Live skit when I first saw those LASCO fans in plywood and people and the superintendent thinking that would be satisfactory. So I think we'll get to a place in the next couple of weeks where Philly can open. You need to have good ventilation for kids, asthmatic kids particularly, in the middle of a COVID respiratory virus. But to your other point, we have proposed the summer as a second semester. Yes, on a voluntary basis. Mm-hmm. And we know that parents who have means want to send their kids to camp. Kids need to be outside. Kids also need not to be isolated, and well-being of kids are really important. So why not plan a second semester of enrichment, of joy? Get kids outside, get kids in community. And that's part of what's in Joe Biden's rescue plan. There's about $40 billion in there for what we need to do to address the effects of COVID. And then we're going to have to use all of next year to really address the deep effects, the emotional, the social, the academic, because we have to help kids get their mojo. Kids are resilient, but we have to help them get their mojo back And we have to understand that we've all been through this terrible pandemic, as well as democracy crisis, as well as other crises. But we got to come together. And that's why the teachers, last thing I'll say is we just did a poll of our members. Look, they turned on a dime to help kids, but they understand how important in-school learning is. And 85% of them have said, if we can get the mitigation strategies that CDC said, plus vaccine prioritization and the testing, like every industry does to see asymptomatic spread, 85% of them said they'd be comfortable being back in school and doing in-school learning.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.